There is no denying that Rimworld is probably one of the best survival strategy games ever. It has everything that you need from a genre, and it's probably one of the only great examples of a genre, but it's not actually the only one. And in this video we're going to be reviewing the game that is ultimately being dubbed as a Rimworld alternative in 3D, and we'll be deciding whether it is worth it to buy right now or not. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get it started. Oh yeah, the game is called Stranded Alien Dawn. So yeah, let's discuss that. And as always, as with every single one of my videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away to not waste your time and give you time to play either this or maybe a Rimworld. Or maybe you just want to play with yourself. I don't know, you do you. And the answer is this. Actually, weirdly, yes. I enjoyed this game quite a lot despite me not loving actually survival game genre. But the amount of micromanagement that you can do in this game makes this game very, very interesting. I would not say that it's not as deep and as good as a Rimworld is because the amount of scenarios is not as wide here. But to be fair, for more casual gamers, this will be much more pleasant experience than Rimworld is. Not saying that it's better than Rimworld, but I also understand that most people will not want to play Rimworld just because how complex it is. But now let's get deeper into the details. Oh, and by the way, our Steam Curator page is already up and running, so if you want to see all of my reviews, videos, and a little bit of text review right there on Steam before you're gonna buy anything, just go and follow us there on Steam so that you will not miss my reviews when you are buying the games. Now back to the video. So what is Stranded Alien Dawn? So Stranded Alien Dawn is a survival strategy game where your goal is to, well, survive on an alien planet. The story-wise, you have actually kind of like very small rudimentary bits of story. And that's the thing that I want every survival game to actually have, and I want them to be this clear from the very beginning, like this game has. You actually have a few different starts. You have your regular crash landing, where you actually crash land on a planet with a few survivors, and your goal is actually to build a communication array and to get out of there. You actually have a trading post scenario where your goal is to create a trading post on this planet. But there is also a military outpost scenario, but which is more turned towards an actual combat of the game. When you start the game, you choose few of your survivors, and each survivor has their own distinct, well, characteristics and, well, characters. And you need to choose them very carefully because you need people that actually have the useful skills for you. Because if you don't, well, you're gonna have a hard time. And skills are very important because some characters have already great skills and other characters are inclined towards great skills, and also there are characters that cannot do anything in the skills. For example, there are actually characters that cannot fight at all. So you choose your survivors and then you start the game. And the default mode is a crash landing mode where you crash land on this alien planet. And every time you crash land on this planet, the planet will be different because it's procedurally generated. And also you choose from different biomes, and depending on the biomes at the beginning, the gameplay will be a little bit different. But okay, when you land, your goal is to, well, survive. And it's not as easy as you might think because every single character has their own wants and needs, meaning that the things that they want to do and there are things that they need to do. For example, the needs can be hunger, they need to eat, and also it will be shelter and a place to sleep and the temperature around them. But wants can be something different. Like for example, some of them will want to, well, research the world around them, to explore. Some of them will want to, well, play darts. Some of them will want to fight. Some of them will want to socialize, and you need to actually take care of all these wants and needs if you want your characters to be as effective as possible and to not for them to go insane. Because yeah, they can go insane, and by going insane they can hurt everyone around them, they can hurt the things that you built, and that is not the thing that you want to do. Thankfully, you have a very good management system in the game, like a priority manager and activity manager. Like in activity manager, you can set up a certain, well, times in a day where your characters will actually work, do different stuff, and also, well, have fun and also sleep. And you can set it up differently for different characters to have some kind of shifts during the game. So because you might not want to everyone to be working at the same time and everyone be sleeping at the same time, because if you will be invaded during the night when everyone is tired and sleepy, that might end badly for you. Yes, there are hostile wildlife in the game that will try to, well, kill and eat everyone. And with a priority manager, you can actually set up different priorities for different tasks for each and every character, so you don't need to micromanage every single character one by one every single time, which is a pretty good thing to have. And eventually you will need to think of actually getting a constant supply of food because the game has a seasons system, and seasons is, well, regular spring, summer, summer, fall, and winter. And you need to think about this because some seasons have abundance of food, as you may understand, and others they don't. And well, the best way to have a lot of food is actually to grow it yourself, but you cannot grow it yourself because you don't know the flora and fauna around you. And to do so, you actually need to investigate and observe different types of living creatures, both plant and animals. And after you do that, you will actually gain ability to plant because you will know that they're edible now. And also you can gain an ability to tame different creatures, which is a bit difficult in the beginning, but will become more relevant later in the game. Also, from time to time, you will be attacked from the hostile wildlife around you. And to protect yourself, you'll need to build the protective fortifications like fences, walls, and eventually you can go into automated turrets. You also need to take control of the energy consumption. For example, you will need fire in the beginning, but eventually you will need to switch to electricity. And you do this by upgrading your science and doing different researches. And as you progress through the game, you will become more and more advanced, and things becoming to do more and more easy. But also eventually your survivors' needs actually change. Like for example, some survivors would not like to be in one room with everyone else, and they want to have a separate room and separate bedroom for them. You can build them that. Eventually you will have enough resources to do that. Also, eventually in the game, you will actually be able to build an air balloon, start investigating territories outside of your biome. And when you do that, you need to be very careful because if you send the people that are not qualified to do so, they might die in an expedition. But for the people who are qualified, they actually might bring a very great loot, and also they might bring other survivors too. And all of those things seeming to be overwhelming at first is not as difficult as you might think. The game has pretty good tutorial system actually, and I highly suggest you to start with this tutorial system because it will get you familiar with all the things in the game. Because if you're not familiar with that, like for example, if your character, one of your survivors will get injured, then you will not know what to do. Well, they might die, and well, they die forever. And when you have this machine of the society where everyone has their own role, losing even a single person might be devastating for you and might cause to lose everything. But now to the main question, is it actually fun? People are always comparing this to Rimworld, but for me it was kind of like a mix of Rimworld and Sims, because the characters have their own wills and minds, and you are just giving them general missions to do so. Only real way for you to take direct control of them is when you draft them if you want to send them to a combat. But compared to Rimworld, well, to be fair, this game is not as varied as the Rimworld is. Everything here is pretty straightforward, and some insane thing that is happening in Rimworld, like for example the zombie rabbit attacks, will not be happening here. It's pretty straightforward and pretty simple, and for that reason it might be accessible for more people. But everything is good, everything is great if the price is right. So how much the game will cost you? So game is available on Steam for the base price of $29.99 for tier 1 countries and $19.99 for tier 2 countries. And even though the game actually just launched, the lowest price has ever gone was $26.99 for tier 1 countries and $17.99 for tier 2 countries. So as you can see, the game is actually not as expensive even on launch. So is it worth it? Well, I think yes. If you're not looking the game as deep and as varied as Rimworld is, well, this game is actually amazing casual experience. Not every game needs to be as insanely advanced and deep as Rimworld is, and this game is perfect example of perfect middle ground. This game will keep you busy and entertained enough to have fun, but not overwhelm you at any point. And also, game is varied enough to keep you busy for a really long time. Plus with the different scenarios, you will actually be concentrating on different things in different scenarios. Plus, in addition to that, if you're thinking the game is a bit too difficult, game also has a built-in modifiers, kind of like cheats, even though those are not actually cheats, which you can activate from the beginning of the game to make the game a bit easier for you, maybe just to learn. So yeah, do I think that this game is worth it? I think it is. Game is fun, game is entertaining, and will keep you entertained for a pretty long time. Oh yeah, and one more thing, we have a Discord server now. Join us if you want to be with the like-minded individuals who just love the games and want to spend a good time. You can join us with the link in the description down below. Well, I guess this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.